you doing, everybody? How do normal people handle? Welcome to Daddy's Issues. I'm Todd, the daddy with the issues. Today we're going to be talking about the fallout from the whole Covington situation. Apparently about a week and a half ago. Brief synopsis. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. At Covington High School, there was... I don't know if it was right after high school. Don't really care. That's not my point. There was two groups. Covington High School students, they were wearing MAGA hats. There was some black Israelites. And then there was a Native American guy there, Nathan Phillips. Well, the news came out that they showed a brief video of Nathan Phillips face-to-face with this high school kid. And I could find his name in about 2 seconds, but I don't really care. I don't want to give his name out. They had this confrontation, and it wasn't super verbal. In fact, it was just showed Nathan Phillips, the Native American guy, banging a drum, and the high schooler was just standing there with a smirk on his face, a smile on his face, but he wasn't saying anything. And the report was that the MAGA-wearing high school kids confronted the Native American guy, were throwing racial slurs at him and just harassing the guy. And Twitter blew up over it. Now, it wasn't Twitter that brought it out, I don't think. Actually, I think Twitter did. There was someone on Twitter who exposed this. But the news agencies also came out. MSNBC, CNN, Fox, from all sides of the aisle. They came out. They reported on it. Twitter blew up. All the stars and musicians and everyone just talked about how they were racist and Nazis and blah, 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 blah. That's what they always do. And they deserved it. Those high school kids absolutely deserved it. What they did is reprehensible. They should not have done it. It was ridiculous. They deserved all the criticism they received. And then within 24 to 48 hours, it turns out that's not exactly how it happened. The full video came out and showed that the black Israelites were the ones that were instigating things. They were saying a lot of crap, a lot of smack. The high school kids responded by singing school songs and probably Make America Great Again, I assume. I didn't get that far into it, and that's not my point of the video today. The confrontation happened because Nathan Phillips actually confronted the MAGA hat-wearing teens and started banging the drum in their face. So it's not quite what everyone says, which means those kids didn't deserve what they received from the media. Media, Twitter, everybody. They completely got hosed when they should not have, excuse me. So, why am I bringing this up if I don't want to talk about it? Well, I expect the media, I expect Hollywood, I expect musicians, I expect politicians to find any little tiny thing, make it a huge deal, and then try to get power off of it. That's really, at the bottom line, the end of the day, whatever term you want to use, that's what it's about. Getting power, getting recognition, putting them in the center, the spotlight, and I expect that from those people. What I don't expect is for the common, everyday, average Joe and Jane out there to buy into this, to get led around like that. That's what bothers me most about it. And you see this all the time with pretty much every issue. Trump tweets something and everyone loses their flipping mind. This happens and the world goes crazy. And then it turns out that's not what happened. And I think that we, as a society, as the people living in the society and actually running the society, not as leaders or as someone pushing the buttons, but as the actual people who are doing the work, who are creating the businesses, who are working the jobs that matter, the everyday stuff, the backbone of this country, we have got to stop falling for this crap. We have got to stop jumping in with both feet when we see a soundbite or a tiny video clip. If you see a little video clip these days, guaranteed you're missing 90% of it. 10, 15 years ago when cell phones were just becoming a big thing, and I don't mean just cell phones, I should take that back, when the Blackberries and then you started having the smartphones and people could actually record video on their phones, a 30-second video was actually a pretty decent video. they didn't have the memory to record 20 or 30 minutes. Now they do. Now you see people on YouTube channels and they record all their stuff on phones. Excuse me. So if you see a little tiny video clip, there's more. So if I'm talking to the normal Joes out there, the normal people, the normal everyday, the ones that go to work every day, the blue collar, the white collar, whatever, what am I suggesting? I'm suggesting something very simple. There's a web or a YouTube page called Active Self-Defense. And the guy who does it, his name is John Curry. Okay, dude's name is John. Active Self-Defense. Basically what he does, he takes closed-circuit TV cameras, security cameras from around the world. He shows violent situations, and he talks about what happened in the videos and what you should do if you find yourself in a similar situation. A really good site. I mean, I highly recommend it if you're interested in that at all. But he's very pro-Second Amendment. He actually teaches gun defense, if I remember right. Cool guy. I really like the site. When the Las Vegas shooting happened, a year and a half, 2 years ago, whatever it was, everybody came out. Everybody had an opinion. Everybody was jumping on whatever bandwagon they liked. He came out within like 24 hours and had a video, and his message during that time was, I'm not going to be commenting on this for 72 hours. He has a standing rule. Whenever something major happens that is self-defense related or gun related, something that would be appropriate for him to talk about, he gives it a minimum of 72 hours. And now I'm going to jump in and give the reasons why. This is from Todd, not from John. The reason's simple. You're never going to learn all the information right away. That's impossible. It doesn't matter about the 24-hour news cycle or the internet and how quick information can be disseminated. The information has to be found first. You have to have the information disseminated. When something is discovered, it can be around the world in minutes. Not 30 minutes, 2 minutes. But it has to be discovered first. So when something happens, it takes time for everything, all the information to come out, all the information to be discovered, to be collected so that it can come out. So whenever something happens, especially news stories, we should, as a society, take 24 to 72 hours. So obviously that means 48 hours. But you should take a little bit of time. That's what we should do. Number one, take a step back. Give yourself some breathing room. Take some time to find all the information. All the information will come out. If they have part of the video, the rest of the video is out there somewhere. Don't just jump to conclusions. If you see some salacious item on the internet, on your favorite website, on all these news sites, they're trying to get a reaction out of you. It's been selectively edited. I mean, all videos are edited, but they're selectively editing it so they can control the narrative in that video. They're trying to get a reaction. They have a leaning, whether it's left, right, whatever it may be. They want you on their side. They don't care if you truly believe it or not, and a lot of them don't care whether what they're telling you is the truth or not. It's a power thing. I truly believe this right down to my tippy toes, that most of the news, celebrities, and politicians who, especially the vocal ones, the ones that aren't vocal are just trying to live their lives, but the vocal ones, it's about power. It really is. It's also about arrogance and elitism. They're convinced that you're a rube and they know what's going on, and they're trying to inform you and enlighten you, and it's a bunch of horse shit. But they have the power to manipulate the narrative. So don't just jump in. That's number one. Take a break. Or not even take a break, just pause. The 24-hour thing, even if you have all the information at the beginning, the story is complete before it comes out, take 24 hours before you react to it. Because your first reaction is going to be an emotional one, and emotions suck as far as leading your life. You have to put brain power to it. You're not going to be able to eliminate emotions completely, and that's good. We don't want to be just statues. But don't let yourself be led by that emotion. So take some time before you react. If you have a web page, if you have a Facebook page that you comment on a lot about uh, topical issues, take a little bit of time. You don't have to be. I don't even watch the news anymore, so I don't know. Brett Baer, let's say. He's a Fox News guy. You're not him. You don't have to give all the breaking news. You can take a little bit of time just to digest it, to think about it, to do a little bit of research on it. That would be point number 2. Research it. Find the information. It's out there. You can find it. If it's on the internet, it's not going to be that hard. This is not the 1970s when Nixon happened and Woodward and Bernstein had to talk to Deep Throat and try to find all the secret information on the Watergate break-ins and blah-bitty-friggin' blah. You can open up a web browser and find information within a millisecond. So do a little bit of research. Spend a little bit of time, half an hour to an hour, especially if you have a platform where you can comment on it. Make sure that you're right, that you have all the information, that your perspective and your opinion is based upon fact and information and reality. Because if it's based on an edited video, you're not basing it on reality. You're basing it upon someone else's perception of reality or the perception they're giving you of reality. So don't be manipulated like that. So number 1, take a break. Give yourself some space. Don't just react emotionally. Number 2, research it. Find out what happened. On this Covington High School thing, the information was out there. That full video came out very quickly. And the narrative now is basically what I said at the beginning, that this was completely blown out of proportion. It was selectively edited. They tried to get a specific reaction out of it, which was wrong. If you're a news person, you should put raw video out and not edit it to get a certain reaction. That's complete manipulation. News people shouldn't be doing that, and they all friggin' do it. So give yourself a break. Find the information. And number 3, and this is one that can be applied to different aspects of life, is be careful when you judge people. That's not even what I'm trying to say either. Be careful casting people as evil. You're not there. You don't know exactly what was going on. The video, even though the longer video shows a broader picture of what happened, a more complete picture, you're never going to see exactly what happened. The cameras don't capture every single scene and every voice that is spoke or speaks. It can't capture everything. There are things that go on that we will never know about. That doesn't mean you can't get a good picture of what happened. If that truly is what happened, then condemn away. But as a society, we need to be cautious about casting people as evil because we disagree with them. Nobody was killed. There's no punches. This did not turn violent. If you step back from this stupid fucking Covington thing, it was not that big a deal. This was completely blown out of proportion just to support a narrative that someone wanted to give. This was not that big a deal. I have bigger arguments with my kids. This is freaking ridiculous. I can't believe that this stupid little thing has blown up so bad. We're in a society that we can't look at each other, and if someone looks cross at you, oh my gosh, it's the nightly news. That's what it looks like, and that's ridiculous. I mean, drive around sometime. All you're going to see is fingers waving at you. There's way more volatility and confrontation in traffic in LA than there was in that video. So, no, I wouldn't call anybody in that video evil. Wrong? Yeah. Acting improperly? Maybe so. Evil? Come on. This was not Hitler and his minions, Goebbels or Himmler. This was not who was in that park on either side. We have to get perspective. And the perspective on this one is it wasn't that big a friggin' deal. Let it go. You're going to find things that actually have an impact on people's lives and comment on those. we have to be careful. We have become a society, and it's not all the way down the line, but there is a very vocal contingent that point at each other and call each other just the worst names that we could possibly come up with. Fascist, racist, Nazi, socialist, and I consider socialist evil, at least the people who run the socialism, because it's not about the proletariat and the bourgeois. It's about power. But we point and we just scream at each other and just call each other evil. And we've got to get that under control, people. We need perspective, and the perspective on this one is completely whacked out. It's getting better now that the full video's out and people are starting to back up and say, yeah, that's not quite what we thought it was. Yeah, that's why you take a little bit of time. It's never what you think it is at the beginning, especially these smaller stories that just pop up out of nowhere. So, number one, give yourself some time to digest it and process it before you comment on it. Number two, research it. Find out what's going on. Number three, just I don't know, I can't stress that enough. That we just have to stop demonizing each other. We have to. So, that's all I want. Civility. Yeah, I don't mind incivility. I don't mind confrontation. I don't mind getting huge, heated debates. But we still have to keep perspective. The MAGA hat wearing kids, even if it was like it happened exactly how they said it was at the beginning, that didn't make them the devil. We have to keep perspective. And it's up to you, everybody out there, society in general. When I say you, I include myself in that. That's a broad you that means society. You have to keep perspective. You have the obligation to decide what's right and wrong, and you have a responsibility to make sure that you're not attacking people who don't deserve it. Because just because they're on the opposite side doesn't mean they're automatically wrong. All right, I've hollered at you enough today. So go out, be good. God bless. Just try not to kill each other. And just take care, and I will see you next time.